Okay, let's be real for a second. How many of us have ever thought, I bet EJ DiMera has someone stashed in his basement? For Ray Fernandez, it wasn't a wild guess. It was Kat's breaking news. But as she pointed out, the hidden clothes were for a man, which ruled out the recently escaped Kristen. Still, Rafe was furious. This wasn't a breakthrough. It was a reckless gamble that nearly blew Kat's cover and put her life on the line. All for evidence that didn't bring them any closer to finding Chad. "You're just not getting it," Rafe snapped, his patience worn thin. "You acted recklessly, unethically. You nearly jeopardized this entire investigation." His final warning was clear. If she went rogue again, he'd have her pulled from the case. Kat's apology hung in the air, heavy with tension. The clock was ticking, and they were still nowhere. Over at the pub, Leo was deep into writing an exposé on Chad's disappearance when Gwen walked in. "Chad's missing?" she exclaimed, reading the headline over his shoulder. Leo didn't bother hiding his skepticism. Stop pretending to care. But Gwen surprised him. She reminded him that they'd both had their ugly history with Chad. "As do I," she admitted softly, "and I'm not proud of it either." Seizing an opportunity, Leo suggested they team up. "The prime suspect is EJ," he stated bluntly. Gwen hesitated. "I'm a bit skeptical." Her mind flashed to a previous conversation with EJ, questioning if he'd made Tony vanish just like Dimitri. "It just seems a bit extreme to do something so cruel." Leo's eyebrows shot up. "Since when do you defend EJ DiMera?" Annoyed, Gwen shot back that EJ cared about Chad, only for Leo to accuse her of having a crush. With a frustrated sigh, she walked out, leaving Leo alone with his theories. The plot thickened when Javi arrived for dinner, revealing more disturbing news. Theo was missing too. Rafe's fear was becoming a chilling reality. Someone seemed to be targeting the DiMera family. Rafe said there's no reason to think that Trey, would be in any danger, Javi relayed, but his worry was palpable. Leo agreed, his mind racing. While Leo wanted to confront EJ head-on, Javi proposed a more subtle approach, surveillance. Then Leo had a spark of inspiration. "Wait a minute," he said, pulling up Tate's video footage from the gala on his phone. "The same night Kristen broke out of prison. What if she wasn't just on the run? What if she'd been taken too? I believe EJ's clinic could be the key to whatever Machiavellian plot he's cooking up," Leo whispered, as they watched muted footage of EJ and Gwen arguing intensely. "If only we could hear what they were saying." Javi noted it didn't look overtly suspicious, but Leo's instincts were buzzing. Gwen had been in the secret lab. She was living at the DiMera mansion. "Maybe," Leo murmured, "Gwen is EJ's partner in crime." Meanwhile, deep in the DiMera crypt, a very different scene was unfolding. Chad, Kristen, and Theo were trapped together, their panic slowly hardening into desperation. Theo tried to reason, "If EJ was after our inheritance, there are better ways to go about it than locking us in here." But Kristen, sharp and cynical, countered that EJ only gained real power if they were dead, or stayed locked away forever. "We are DiMeras. We will win," Chad declared, but the words felt hollow in the damp, dark air. They attempted a shaky plan to escape through the roof, stacking on each other's shoulders until Kristen tumbled down, injuring her ankle. Pain and fear made her outlash at Chad, but when she finally calmed, her thoughts turned to her daughter, Rachel. Even that conversation spiraled into bickering until Theo snapped, "Shut up! My dad told me it was a mistake trying to work with the DiMeras." In that moment, he believed it. Kristen, surprisingly, offered a thread of remorse. "I'm sorry you're locked up because of your family." But Chad's mind was tracking the bigger picture. If EJ's behind this, why stop with them? What about Megan, Stefan, Peter? "Everybody forgets about Peter," he muttered. Kristen cut through the speculation. "We're better off finding a way out than naming suspects." In a moment of macabre inspiration, Theo ripped heavy urns from nameplates on the crypt walls. "Now we have shovels." They dug frantically into the earthen floor until Theo's makeshift shovel hit something hard. He pulled it out, and a cold dread filled the space. It was a human bone. Back at EJ's secret clinic lab, the atmosphere was just as charged. After Ralph stepped out, EJ and Gwen met in tense secrecy. "Are you behind the DiMeras going missing?" Gwen demanded. Don't you start, EJ growled back. Gwen, ever the pragmatist, pressed on. She was protecting her investment. He'd promised her a miracle drug, Versavix, and claimed that combined with Ralph's serum, it could create a powerful concoction to expand his abilities to revive the dead. Yes, EJ confirmed impatiently. What's the issue? I'm running out of patience, Gwen stated flatly. EJ actually laughed, a dry, exhausted sound. Are you seriously wondering why Ralph hasn't put a rush on the miracle of life? But Gwen held her ground. EJ's composure shattered. I have far more pressing matters to attend to than assuaging your restlessness. My 2 brothers are missing. Just then, Ralph returned, and Gwen immediately questioned his progress. But Ralph looked uneasy. Quite frankly, we have a bigger problem, he told EJ. Your rather eccentric mother, she spotted me at the mansion. EJ could only respond with a weary, rueful chuckle. The walls were closing in, secrets were bubbling to the surface, and somewhere in the dark, the DiMera heirs were digging their way to a truth no one was ready to face. The game was on, and everyone was a suspect.